Welcome to another episode of Art with Kenneth on the KJL Podcast Channel. I'm your host, artist Kenneth J. Lewis Sr. This is part 2 of Cotton, Canvas, and Color, from acrylic layers to oil finish. We begin this episode by revisiting the work that's already been laid down, those first crucial layers of acrylic. I'll take you through both pieces, giving you a closer look at the foundation. First, the 8-foot by 4-foot wide canvas. It's bold, geometric shapes, creating a dynamic presence with layers of texture, building depth and complexity. It's a piece that pulls you in and invites you to explore its intricate design. Next, we move to the 4-foot square cotton fabric liner. This one feels different. Its energy is more fluid, more alive with motion, and its surface filled with the kind of vibrancy that invites exploration. These acrylic layers are the bones, the groundwork, and now we move deeper into them. Today, I'm taking both pieces further with the richness of oil, adding layers that will transform them once again. Next, we move on to the oil paint setup. Here, you'll see the colors I've already squeezed out from the tubes and arranged in an organized palette. One section is dedicated to mixing, where I combine shades to get the perfect tone for each area of the canvas. To the side, you'll notice 2 cups, one filled with mineral spirits, which I use to thin the oil paints and adjust their consistency, and the other with linseed oil, a key ingredient for mixing into the paints to improve flow and finish. Both will come into play throughout the process as I work. Even though the cotton fabric liner has a few layers of acrylic beneath it, I still take extra care not to use any solvents directly on it, just to be cautious and preserve the integrity of the surface. I began mixing my starting colors. My palette's intuitive. Some warm earth tones, a few bold primaries, and muted transitions. I don't plan on covering the entire acrylic painting with oil, but that could change. I go with the flow, responding to the surface in real time. Before we dive deeper, a quick reminder, be sure to check out everything happening at KJL Art Sanctuary. We've got art workshops, Saturday morning coffee, tea, sip and paint sessions, and opportunities to schedule a private appointment if you're interested in purchasing my art or starting your own art collection. And don't miss the full lineup of shows right here on the KJL Podcast Channel, including Art with Kenneth, where you get a behind-the-scenes look at my studio process, the Muse Unveiled show experience featuring intimate portraits, stories, and live painting journeys, and the Art History Show, offering raw, real, and self-taught perspectives on iconic and often overlooked artists. This summer, I'll also be taking you along on gallery and museum tours, sharing fresh inspiration and reflections. So subscribe, stay connected, and let's keep this art journey going. I start with the larger canvas first, and as I begin, I've decided to add a few houses, small and simple structures, at different points across the surface. I move around what's starting to look like a lake, allowing the elements to form organically. There's no strict plan here. It's all about energy, rhythm, and balance. I shift between intricate details and broader stroke. You'll see trees begin to emerge and reflections take shape on the water. It's a dance between color, memory, and imagination. Now let me share why I choose to start with acrylics and finish with oils. Acrylics dry quickly, which gives me freedom to block in shapes, colors, zones, and the basic structure. Once that is in place, oil paint adds a layer of depth. The richness of oil brings subtle transitions and texture. Here's an interesting thing. Oil can go over acrylic, but not the other way around. Acrylic, being plastic-based, doesn't bond well on top of oil. But oil over acrylic, it works beautifully. It helps me move faster while still giving me that luminous, layered finish I absolutely love. As I paint, I work intuitively, letting the painting guide me. Some areas need fine detail, while others call for more abstraction. I don't linger in one spot too long, trusting the process and letting the work evolve on its own. And here it is, the completed 8-foot by 4-foot canvas. The oil has done its work, pulling everything together, hardening some edges, softening some edges, and giving the piece that rich dimensional finish I always chase. The geometry still holds strong, but now it's wrapped in atmosphere. The reflections feel alive. The colors carry weight. This painting became a place, one that wasn't planned, but found its form through rhythm, movement, and trust. From the first bold acrylic marks to those final oil layers. It's a journey captured on the surface, and now it's ready to speak for itself. Now shifting over to the 4-foot square cotton fabric piece. Originally, I thought I'd switch to oil paints at this point, but after stepping back, listening to the work and trusting what I felt, it became clear this piece still has something left to say in acrylic. That's how I move. That's how I create. I follow the spirit of the work. When it speaks, I listen. The inner nudge said, stay here. So that's what I'm doing. That's the beauty of this process. Nothing is locked in. You can adjust, shift, make space for something unexpected. As artists, we're not tied to one approach. We evolve with the work. We start here with my acrylic paint setup. 6 pre-mixed colors laid out in containers. I got the primaries red, blue, yellow, along with black and white, raw sienna, and burnt umber. These are the tools I'll be using to finish this piece. simple, foundational, but incredibly versatile. With just these, I can mix anything I need. Bright tones, deep shadows, subtle neutrals. It's all about control and intention. As I move across the surface now, I begin to layer new elements freely, intuitively. I'm letting each mark lead to the next. No rigid plan. The energy here feels weightless, like everything is in motion but gently suspended. It's a kind of organized chaos, full of rhythm and balance. You'll notice objects that feel familiar, small forms, subtle shapes, almost like things you'd find in a kitchen. Some are obvious, others you have to search for. The tension between the known and the abstract, that's where this piece lives. I've always loved the way acrylic flows for this kind of freedom. It dries fast, sure, but more than that, it invites you to experiment, to change your mind, to react to what's happening in the moment. It can be thick, sculptural, or thin, and transparent, like a watercolor. That flexibility gives me room to explore all the emotional tones I want to hit. I can shift gears instantly, make a bold stroke, then blend a subtle edge just seconds later. And on this thinner cotton fabric liner, everything responds a little differently. The paint absorbs quicker, the surface feels more delicate. It forces me to be more in tune with each gesture. Every brushstroke matters. This piece doesn't demand rules, it demands presence. It asks me to stay connected, so I do. I move with the work, letting instinct guide each decision. Some moments call for clarity, others for suggestion. And that's what I love, finding the balance, letting the piece tell me where to go. This is the joy of painting, not overthinking, not hesitating, just showing up and letting the color, shape, and movement guide the story forward. Now, while I won't show the process of stretching and mounting, I want to share this important part of my setup. I'll be stretching the larger piece onto traditional stretcher bars, while the 4-foot square cotton fabric liner will be mounted onto a primed Luan board. I mention this because each surface has a specific purpose. The stretcher bars give the large piece that classic canvas feel, with just enough give for working on a broader scale. But the cotton fabric liner is much thinner than canvas, and that's why I'm mounting it to a rigid Luan board. It gives the piece added stability, resists sagging over time, and lets me treat the surface more like a panel. That's especially helpful when I'm layering oils over acrylic and using heavier brushwork or palette knives. I can apply more pressure without worrying about stretching or tearing the surface. Now the 4-foot square cotton fabric liner finished entirely in acrylic. And honestly, it just felt right to stay with it. Every layer added more energy, more spontaneity. The piece holds a quiet chaos, loose forms grounded by familiar shapes. It's inspired by everyday kitchen objects, but abstracted into something playful and alive. I love how the thinner cotton surface responds to the paint. More absorbent, more raw. This piece doesn't need to explain itself. It holds emotion, motion, and the freedom of creating without overthinking. From start to finish, it stayed honest. And that's what I respect most about it. 2 surfaces, 2 journeys. Acrylics laid the path, bold, fast, foundational. Oils brought the depth, the soul, the light, the atmosphere. What begins as shape becomes memory. What begins as structure becomes emotion. That is how I build, layer by layer, not chasing perfection, but connection. Not seeking answers, but feeling my way through the rhythm of color, form, and time. This is cotton, canvas, and color, from acrylic layers to oil finish. Thank you for watching and being part of this creative process. Thank you for joining me today on the KJL Podcast Channel. Your time, support, and creativity mean the world to me. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It helps keep this artistic journey alive and thriving. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a brushstroke, story, or inspiring moment. Your encouragement fuels the art, the podcast, and everything we create together. Stay inspired, stay curious, and remember, every masterpiece begins with a single brushstroke. Until next time, this is Kenneth J. Sr. signing off from the KJL Podcast Channel. See you soon.